Okay. All right. I think I know what's happening. Let's try this. Please be right. Okay. Listen, we're on an adventure together. No one's here, so it's perfect. It is. Oh, there's one person here. Hello. I'm just getting stuff set up for the God, I hope this is right. For the oh, um or wait, is that that's the button I need. Okay, that is the right one. All right. Okay. I just want to make sure it's going to the backer kit thing. Yes, I'm excited too. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be just me tonight, so extra chaotic, no Jenny to rein me in. So we'll talk about like the project and other stuff, whatever you want to talk about, basically. And we'll just see how it goes. It's gonna push to all the backer kit people in like 7 minutes. So I think this actually, I bet I can update it. Bet I can update it. Um, oh, not that. It's fine. I'm a professional. It's cool. Okay. So we're gonna see if this is gonna work. Okay. Yeah, yeah, it's so going live early helps because like it just took me 5 minutes to get the YouTube thing working and I was not entirely certain like it was gonna work and I wanted to leave time to like jump onto StreamYard if I needed to, but I would prefer to do it this way. It's it's we're chaotic and also schedule times are hard 'cause I just want to like show up and be like, hello, chaotic. I'm used to like Instagram live or TikTok live, I guess, and just being able to like pop on and be like, what's up? Um, and unfortunately, scheduling is important to these sort of things. So we're gonna just see if it goes live in 1 minute. I bumped it up a little bit. Oh, I think it's working. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, it is working. Cool, great, awesome. Hello, people who are coming in. Yay. We'll just kinda, like, I mean, if anybody shows up, you're here, though, so that's exciting. I guess I should post on Instagram. I'm not good at this stuff, guys. I know it seems like I have my shit together, but I do not have my shit together. Um, it's fine, it's fine. A professional individual. Hello, Tyler. Um, let's see. Do a live AMA on YouTube right now. Post. Boom. Done. All right. We got 5 people here. We're doing great. Anyways, so if you have questions, just like holler at your person, your author. And this will be recorded. So if anybody misses it, they can pop in later and like watch, hopefully, not all 5 minutes of chaos. It'll be great. I'm really excited for this project. We have everything together. We launch in a week, a little less than a week on the 4th. It's I'm pretty sure within like 2 days, I'm going to have the proofs for the dust jackets that are going to go over the US paperbacks. And so I'm really excited to make sure that proof of concept works. I've seen it, other authors do it and like it works super well. So I'm assuming that this will also work well, but we'll find out together. It'll be great. And I hope everything sounds good. It's seems okay, cool, cool, cool. Dude, that's awesome. Like like Neon Gods, they just got such good placement like everywhere that people just sort of like found it like Target. I maintain that Target does not know what's inside my books because they just keep keep putting on shelves. And so unsuspecting folk get to pick it up and then be like, "Oh, that is in fact quite spicy." Um, and Neon Gods, I mean, is it's not the tamest of the bunch, but it definitely gets spicier from there. I've had so much fun with this series. I'm so excited to, like, bring it to folks in, in, like, this format and, like, doing it myself, or well, not myself, but, like, having my fingers in all the pies of the project. Listen, that's perfect, Tyler, because Sweet Obsession comes out, like, in 2 days, it'll be next month. So, in, like, 5 weeks or something. So, like, you are honestly doing it perfect because it means no waiting. And, I, just as a reader, am super guilt well, 1, I sometimes go through, like, straight up dry spells where it's like, I don't know, I can't finish a book. And sometimes the more I want to read a book or the more I'm, like, really excited for, like, the last book in a series or whatever, I will just straight up not read it. I'll buy it, usually in, like, 2 or 3 formats, and then it'll just sit on my shelf, and I'll be like, "It's not over as long as I don't read it." And this is, oh, probably perverse. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, the more it's just because then it's over, and even though I'm really excited for it, I don't want it to be over, which means I don't finish series very often, especially if I really enjoy them. Um, Tragic, frankly. I hope you'll finish this series because I turned in book 10, like, a month ago, and it's crazy. It's super crazy that, like, it's pretty much done on my side of things. Like, I have to do edits and stuff on it, but it will, yeah, oh god, college. I the amount of people I know who either, did, like, engineering or law school or, like, post grad, I don't know, I'm a college dropout, and just, like, could not read, like, for recreationally because they, were just so overwhelmed with the amount of reading they had to do for college, like, you are not alone. Um, oh, yeah, ADHD people problems, very true. Sorry, I'm reading comments and I read fast, but not that fast. Yeah, my husband also does that sometimes where he's like, "Hello, I am a person in this room and I would love for you to pay attention to me." And I'm like, "No, wait, stop. I have to finish Deep End," which is the book I just finished like last night by Ali Hazelwood. Um, it's really good. You should check it out. It's very like I feel like in so many kink books, it's like dark romance. Like in my books as well, like with kink, it's usually like dark romance and there's like crazy stuff going on. And this was just like a really lovely new adult book and like um the it was like two people just kind of figuring out what they like and it was spicy but like not like overwhelming. I don't know, it was great, you should read it. So this is a limited drop. We will, yes, you'll have it's limited in the time, it's not limited in like the numbers. Like we don't have limits on what we're printing because we're printing after the project like closes. So because we didn't want to like limit people. And so it will be open until March 27th at like 5:30 Pacific approximately. And that's when you're charged as well. And then but you can like as soon as you get in there, you can cruise, you can take your time. There's none of the merch or the books or anything is limited. There's not like a pressure there. You don't have to like drop everything and jump in. Um, but once it's closed, that's it. Because contractually, I contracted with my publisher to do these special editions, which is super weird because like I'm the author. I don't know, but there's a chance that we'll be able to bring back volumes one for through five, like as an add-on when we do the last half of the series in like 2 years, but it's not guaranteed at this time. Hi, fangirl reading. Yeah, just see, ADHD, like, I literally this month, I have not read until, like, I traveled for the last week, and so I read 4 books in, like, 6 days, but before that, I read 1. So, um, no, you are not gonna have to sneak out of work. It will not, absolutely not. Like, for the bonkers romance ones, which are, like, new content, we do, like, a limited run of that's, like, stamp or hand signed by the authors that are, like, numbered and lettered, and those are limited, but other than that, we don't I don't like to limit stuff because, like, again, I don't want you to get in trouble at work, and, like, it's we you have, like, 3.5 weeks to gobble up all this stuff. Um, yeah, happy birthday on Monday. That's exciting. Yeah, so 6 to 10 will again, this is, like, assuming I don't see why my publisher would tell me no, that I can't do this. Our designer actually already designed the spines for 6 through 10 and, like, the or the slipcase so that, like, it'll match perfectly. It's really cool because 1 through 5 is kinda like the upper city, and then 6 through 10 is kind of like it's like the water in the lower city. It's gonna I'm very excited. Yes, I'm excited to go to Gibson's too. Like, I love that store. I had so much fun when I was back there that I was like, I would love to go back. And thankfully they're like, "Yes, please come back." And they're like, they didn't tell me no. Um, yes, yes. Patreon makes it nice. It does like for those who don't know, my Patreon, you get like the new releases, they just sort of show up as long as you're in like the appropriate tier. Like we ship them out and they just show up with like whatever art and like that sort of thing. Um, I frankly I subscribe to oh no. Oh no. I think I have one of her books like right here. Oh, Sam Nacosta, her Patreon, because I get those books and I don't have to remember it. They just show up and I'm like, hello, surprise for me. Yeah, the store's great. Like the little town super I mean, I don't know how little the town is. I walked Main Street and like bought a bunch of stuff, shopped entirely too much. Yes, there are something special for Patreon members for this campaign. We are if you are part of my Patreon and active member and you get early access, which again, nothing's limited. So it's just a little more relaxing shopping experience, I guess. I don't know. But 2 days early, you'll get early access to like or the campaign. You'll get to like go in and do your purchasing and stuff before we like technically drop. In addition to that, as long as you sign up with the same email that you have for Patreon, because we'll be like providing that to Backer Kit, you will get the like the ticket to the underworld coin for free. Um so just kind of like a little special like thank you, I appreciate you. um listen, I use your money for good. I buy so much art with it and then we all benefit. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. Like we've kind of like we really dialed in on the merch. There's so many cool things. I'm like of course am not prepared, don't have any of it with me right now because it's like in my office elsewhere. But there'll be like the maps, which are the maps of Olympus, but then around like on the border, it's like little scenes of locations that are like important to each of the books. And then of course the vellum. We gotta bring the vellum back, which some are like more not safe for work than others, but like light not safe for work, just like a little teddy. And then Muse Watch, because like I feel like if I did this without doing like a Muse Watch sampler, it would just be such a missed opportunity. And so I put together like a little bifold like magazine, I guess, with like little articles and stuff of reflecting what's going on in each book and like what the Muse Watch headlines would have been and what they would have been talking about, which is just, what are they up to? Yeah, see, I Muse Watch was like such a I'm not gonna lie, it was directly inspired by Gossip Girl because like the idea of and also like modern celebrity headlines and the paparazzi and stuff and like it affects like how we view people like so intensely even if we are like this is nonsense, and so it made sense that that would kind of play into the whole experience, and it's one of my favorite like parts of this world that I created. I'm just reading. Yes. So if you are a Patreon member and you do the one-click box, like there's one-click merch box, which includes everything except the dust jackets for the US paperbacks, but like all the merch, the hardcovers, that. So you'll get 2 coins with that in that case. So like, which is kind of like delights me in like the low key, like, coins over the eyes. It's not the same thing. I realize that, but like it's just sort of like a nod to that. So Patreon, you get 2 coins. Yeah, no. Um, oh my gosh, Anita Blake is crazy. I found so Cerulean Sins, which if you've just started, you, like, start in this, like, horror suspensey thing, and then you, like, end up in, like, orgies. And, I started in book 9, which is the where crazy stuff happens at, like, 14. Um, and so I feel like my threshold for, like, bonkers stuff is so high, partially as a result of Laurel K. Hamilton and being like, "Yeah, of course, that's fine. You do them while you're half beastie." Like, is that bestiality? I don't think so. I mean, it's not by, like, definition, however, the wildness is off the charts, and I love those books. Yeah, so, see, carry on. You gotta have the ferryman, you gotta pay the ferryman with your ticket to the underworld. I feel like this is thematically perfect. But I'm really excited for the dust jackets to get here. One, because I only have the proof of Neon Gods currently, because we're getting everything into place and our artist, like, it just takes time. And then we order our books from China, and the Chinese New Year's like kind of like ours, where it's like 2 to 3 weeks or no one's around. And so that was like just got over. Um, yes, so the end paper art I have shared elsewhere, but it was a while ago because I had different plans for it initially. But Isabel Bartnicki did the end paper art, and it's kind of like a romantic clinch, sort of, like, not, like, super crazy dramatic, but, like, just really lovely with, like, sort of a border and, like, backgrounds and stuff. Um it's been done for so long, the end paper art, and so I'm really excited. It will be when the campaign launches, everything, there's no surprises, unless you want surprises, in which case do not scroll the story. But if you don't want surprises, you can scroll the story, see all the art, see all everything that is going into it. Um, and it just came together so perfectly. But I'm really excited for the dust jackets, because frankly, I kind of want to frame them. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I like Sid Mills has been on my list of, like, artists that I think are just phenomenal and do, like, such, like, makes me feel the feelings with all their art. And, and so, like, 1, I was like, "Wait, you're gonna say yes?" And 2, they put so much thought process into each piece, and, like, the imagery and, like, the metaphor and, like, the posing of the people, like, it's just perfection. Like, for example, in Wicked Beauty, Achilles is, like, big, posturing and bold and, like, throwing a spear, and, Patroclus is more, like, uptight and has, like, the big shield because he's the protector, and Helen in the back's just doing gold shit. So but also stealing the show. So it's, like, stuff like that, like, every piece of the back of the reversible art on the end papers is, like, so just filled to the brim with, like, intention, and it's just very excited. And we will, like, the goal for 6 through 10 is to bring back the whole team and do and have everything match 100%. Um, I don't see why that wouldn't happen, but that's, of course, barring, like, catastrophe, because people have lives and stuff happens, but that is the plan at this time, and we have enough time that it should work out perfectly. But, yeah, no, listen, I feel the RIP in my bank account because, like, the amount of times I just backed, oh my god, what are words? The Poisoner. Ophelia? That's not the author's name. Nope, starts with an O, but The Poisoner Special Edition, I just backed Jessica Cage's, upcoming He is a Werewolf? I don't know, those books are great, they're really funny. Like, if you like Kimberly Lemming, you should check out Jessica Cage. Yes, Ivy Ophelia, thank you. I listen, I don't if you don't follow me on social media, I've been having the craziest month, and, like, the ADHD is so intense and the marbles are scattered, and, the project's gonna launch without a hitch, but, like, my brain is not online. Um, yeah, see, it's just art. I just wanted it to feel really intentional. I wanted to have the dust jackets so that, like, if I understand that, like, people have been buying these books, and I thank you. But, like, so that you can have the cool, special, fun thing, like, the pretty with it if you want to. Like, you don't have to buy a whole other set of books. Um, it's gonna be really great. I'm really excited. I have had a bit of a tumultuous relationship with special editions with this series in particular, and so it feels really good to, like, be here, and we're gonna be able to do, like, live streams. We're gonna do a live stream when we launch, a live stream when we end, and then we're gonna do one in the middle, where Jen so, like, trivia will be part of this whole process. You don't have to, it's opt-in only. But, like, when you back, you'll be prompted to join a team of one of the 5 books. And then if you want to, you can participate in trivia and, like, answer questions about, like, the series or the books or, like, Jenny picked it out because that's because when I'm like, "I don't know what people want to know." Um, but she, in reading through the books, had, like, a bunch of trivia stuff, and I am notoriously terrible at remembering what happens in my own books. And so the live stream on, like, I think it's on the 10th, of March will be her quizzing me on trivia on my own books, and we get to see how, like, maybe it'll work out, or maybe I'll have forgotten everything and it'll be funny. Either way, it'll be an enjoyable experience. Yeah, no, I'm excited they're getting special editions. Like, we were contemplated just holding off and doing the whole series, but like 10 hardcovers is one, the shipping would be astronomical, and two, it would be really cost prohibitive for like people. Like 10 books is a lot of books. So, yeah, see, and the teams, how they work, it's not a numbers thing, it's a percentage thing. So, like, the percentage of correct answers is like what moves the little like thing. And if your team wins at the end of like the campaign, then you'll get like a free little like rep-in sticker, like being like my team's awesome, like team what like Neon Gods or whatever. Um, so the short stories are actually these editions will include the shorts related to those couples, with the exception of Stoneheart. I still am figuring out what I'm gonna do with that one because it's just slightly too short to do, like, cool things, but any short stories and stuff that have been with, like, Hades and Persephone will be included in Neon Gods. So, it's kind of like what we've been doing with source books with, like, Desperate Measures had, like, the shorts that I'd done for Patreon or, like, various other things. That will be included in, like, the hardcovers. Um Yes. Yeah. Um, yes, Deborah knows all. Deborah is my queen. She keeps us in line, is like, "Hello, details are important." They are important. I'm so sorry, Deborah. Yeah, so there'll be team captains, and they kind of, be repping the various teams, and I'm I'm very curious. I'm very curious how it's gonna go. I'm really excited. Oh, so the Omegaverse is not included, just because it's not canon, and I didn't want to upset people who have very strong feelings about fanon, I guess. Like, and so since it was essentially fanfic, of my own books, I will make I think that's only in the Patreon right now, so I might make that public. Maybe I'll just release that to y'all like once we launch, maybe, or like sometime during the campaign. It'll be like, here's a fun little ditty that Katie made that's straight up curse content because it's Omegaverse, it's Persephone, and Hades Senior because curse content is sometimes necessary. Yeah, so Stoneheart, the problem is the printing because it's like about 20,000 words, which is about like half the size of like the Deal with the Demon series, which is already a pretty thin book. I I might I think for the second half, I'm going to try to either like combine it with something or do something with it so that it also gets like the honorable nod of the special editions. I just don't know what yet because Medusa and Calypso deserve all the good things. If I had to pick a team, what would I oh god. Okay. So this is a hard question because I love them so much. I think it would probably Oh god, it'd probably be Cruel Seduction of these 5, it'd be probably be Cruel Seduction just because I love Eris as Aphrodite so much, and, like, Theseus as Hephaestus is such a he's so bad like, he's a bad man, but she's worse, and, like, that just like, the whole "Step on Me, Aphrodite" is my heart, and so, yeah, it would probably be Cruel Seduction. Um, like, Neon Gods is the OG, but I am like that it's too OG. Um, yeah, so Neon Gods actually has a lot of extra content because I've done the most, extra shorts for them, and I think there's a novella in there as well. So, the first 5 books are just so long, but I think I could probably fit it into one of the other I guess, you know where it probably makes sense to put it in the back of Midnight Ruin for the next one, because you do see Medusa specifically a bit in Midnight Ruin, so we'll see what word counts end up being and then do that maybe. But I promise I will do right by Stoneheart, it's just a matter of when and how. But yes, and yeah, no, if you have any various questions, it doesn't have to be, like, campaign related, um yeah, see, so yeah, you can get all the stickers if you back within the first 48 hours, you will automatically get the sticker for whatever team you, like, join, um, and then the stickers are available individually, they're, like, $2 a piece or something like that. Um, okay, which book was toughest to write? It was of the okay, we're gonna no, actually, I think this is a true answer regardless, it was Radiant Sin. I had such a hard time because Apollo was so nice and was so, like, aware of the power dynamics and being like, "No, I can't put you in that position, like, I would never kiss somebody who's employed by me because that would be incorrect and wrong," and I'm like, "No, just smash," and, it was the only book in the series that my editor came back and was like, "Can we make this hotter because they are too sweet," and I was like, "I'm gonna work on it." Um and yeah, so okay, the plushies, yes. Again, I have him somewhere, my grumpy son, I love him so much. So, it'll be a pair, it's grumpy son Hades and Persephone in her, like, throne outfit, like, the black intricate lingerie thing. Um, they will be included in the one-click merch, you can also buy them as a pair, like, individually to, like, any tier that you add on. Um You know what, Brenna, I will talk about the campaign. I can't spoiler it because Jenny will fly back from her cruise and bludgeon me, but I can give you little hints. Um, okay, so the next campaign after this one will be next year. So we only run one of these babies a year. It's Bonkers season 4. It is so we've all seen on social media the people being like that author copied and brr, 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 brr. And I feel very strongly about this as someone who's deeply into folklore and fairy tales and, like, myths, and, like, there's no real one true version, and we're all in conversation with each other. And so Jenny and I talked about it a lot, and we're like, I would like to give or we would like to give the authors all 6 authors have one fairy tale that they're pulling from. And the only guidelines we had were that, like, it has to be a romance, so it has to end in an HEA, and it has to be spicy. And, you can call on the fairy tale, which I am not gonna share because not yet, but you'll call on the fairy tale, like, as little or as much as you want, and, like, every single author is doing something so wildly different that also, like, has that same core themes, like, that you find in the fairy tale that, like, I'm so fucking excited. I'm so excited, like, y'all are not ready. Um, no signed books this time. There let me rephrase. All the books have, like, um, a digital signature, but no stamp signed, mostly because, um, it's really hard on me. And I didn't wanna limit stuff for this one, and I didn't want to, like, panic anyone or, like, have issues and or to confuse the, um, the issues with the hand or the numbered lettered editions, because if you had a number or a letter with Black Rose Auction, that will be you'll get first dibs with season 4, and this campaigns kind of like apples and oranges to those, and so we decided to keep it separate and just keep them all uniform. Um, so let's see. Least favorite character out of any of the books. So when I say least favorite, I don't necessarily mean I don't like them. I just they're a challenge and it's Apollo. I love him. I love my sweet baby angel, but he is so nice and so sweet and such like a lovely little pleasure dom, and that's great. But also, he was a challenge from beginning to end, and it just made the whole thing more difficult. Um, so yeah, that's kind of I'm consistent. Radiant Sin was like it's such an important book in the series, which is probably why it was one of the most difficult ones to write. Um, so Cassandra's family were outcasts because they tried to engage with the assassination clause because they had like known about it and were unsuccessful. If they'd been successful, it would have been an entirely different story. But because they were unsuccessful, they were ousted. Um, so I don't have plan I'm kind of not a like a one trick pony, that's not what that means, but, like, I there are other pantheons that I've been interested in, but because this I don't know. I don't know if I'll do other pantheons. I don't have plans at this point. I'm returning to Wicked Villains and doing a Next Generation, which we'll see a couple of the adult children of, like, the Dark Olympus series, but I'm I kinda wanted to do, like, fairy tales that we don't see as often, so, like, the first 3 ones are, The Robber Bridegroom, the 12 Dancing Princesses it's 1, but 12 Dancing Princesses, and the Pied Piper, because I have feelings and thoughts about that, and I'm really excited to play with the whole thing. Um, no so, Shelby, the I knew going in, I had actually read Zoe York's, like, Romance in Your Brand, and, like, I really wanted to be intentional about the series arcs because we all have read books or series or whatever, or, like, the dreaded, number 2 in, like, a trilogy that's sometimes kind of a want, or you'll have a series that, like, took off and, like, you can tell that the author didn't necessarily plan for it to, so there's, like, a couple books dip before it, like, really picks up again, and I didn't want that for this. And so I had 3 arcs that, like, I loosely had planned, and that, like, the first arc, which is books 1 through 3, was, like, the initial, like, rumblings of destabilization. Like, there's a lot of changeover of titles, there's some shenanigans going on, and then 4 through 7-ish is, like, the intentional destabilization, like, the train's coming down the track, you see it coming, you're like, "Oh, no, we're in danger," and then, of course, the final climax is, like, 8 through 10, more or less. It was actually only planned at 9 books initially, but, like, Hermes just sort of took over, and it ended up being really perfect to, like, end on 10. Yes, go hard for this one, Jessica. So I do have a monster romance coming, a novella, not a full book, but I have a novella coming, I think later this year. It's sort of secret. The only thing I can tell you that it is a sleep paralysis demon who's kinda bad at her job. And, and it was a lot of fun. It was a nice kinda, like, breath of fresh air in between finishing Shattered Gods and, like, getting into some of the other projects that I have coming, some of which are not announced yet. Um, let's see. Boop, boop. Listen, if your partner likes, Fourth Wing, I cannot recommend any Davenport's, The Blood Trials enough. It's kind of similar sort of setup with no dragons, but, like, it's a war college. It's a heroine who she's got some shit, and Ikenna has done no wrong, and no one can tell me that she's done wrong ever. I love her. She's, like, kinda arrogant and also ruthless, and does have a, like, instructor who's deeply hot, and everyone's trying to murder her. But it's similar enough vibes that if you like Fourth Wing, I would deeply recommend The Blood Trials. It's just a duet. It's done. You don't have to wait. You can read them back to back. Um and she has Nia has, Romantasy coming up that I'm deeply excited for. Listen, I'm a reader, I fangirl so hard over all the things. So, yeah, merch, so I do I do have some T-shirts. I've only done Neon Gods and Electric Idol so far, like, in my little shop thing. Um, I will probably do more merch at some point just because 'cause I'm a selfish creature and I love merch and I buy it too, so, like, I want to wear it, and so I can justify that by being like, "It's also for sale, maybe." But, yeah, no, I will be returning actually, my, my season 4 has a monstrous element in it. It's not I wouldn't call it monster romance, more it's got kinda Jekyll and Hyde vibes, because like, I feel like so often and I eat this up with a spoon, so this is not a criticism, but so often, like, it's like, my other half's evil and bad and, like, monstrous, and he'll murder you," and then this is usually the hero, and then, like, the monster half or, like, shifter or whatever comes out, and then it's like, "Oh, pussycat," and, like, I love that, but, like, I want and Kate C. Wells actually did this with her rejected mate, um I think it was the 3rd book in that series where his wolf is, like, feral. But, like, I wanted to write something where, like, he actually his monster half is truly monstrous and out of control and, like, scary, and, like, what happens then? We're gonna find out together. Um, so I the current Dark Olympus apparel and other colors probably at some point it's kinda supply and demand thing, like, there has not been as much like, once we run through this stock, we'll probably do more limited drops with other colors and, like and again, expand the designs because I have like, if you'll notice on the team designs, the stickers we're doing, it's the same design as the ones on the shirts that, Maisie, I'm coming back to you. So those we'll have other designs and just do more limited drops with it just so my husband's like, "Please stop buying all the things, we don't have room." Let's see. Yeah, so Earth Swallowed Ocean Vibes. That is such a specific, like the romance as horror, and I don't know if I've read anything quite like, I've read, like, horror romance that's, like, sexy, but I haven't necessarily like, he does a big old cannibal on her, like, if you haven't read it like, all the content warnings, I don't necessarily recommend it unless you check the content warnings and are good with them because, like, take care of yourself. However, I went in straight up, like, without reading the blurb or anything because, a friend recommended it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I never read the blurbs, I'm terrible." And I'm like, "He just took a bite out of her body, what is happening?" Like, I'm sending Jenny screenshots, that's when you know it's good. I enjoyed it immensely. Um, if I find more, I will recommend them because I have deep feelings about it, and it's one of those ones that, like, I was legitimately shocked at, like, how much I was enjoying it, and the prose is phenomenal. Um, yes. Yes, I can do a shirt like the Smut Hut or something, that would be fun. I like that, we should do that. I'll get Shannon, Donahue on it because she just keeps her designs are phenomenal. Um, yeah. So let's see, do. Yeah, I knew, hey Shannon, I was just talking about you. I knew that I wanted to do like the full 9 yards of like the jackets and the end papers and the whatever. I didn't fully know how hard we were gonna go on them until we got into it, but then there became like this component of like if we're gonna do it, let's do it right, and to hell with the consequences or my pocketbook. Pocket bank account, I don't have a pocketbook, that's old school, but, in the fact that, like, it was kinda like one of those things that, like, if I was doing this project with other authors, because while Jenny and I do we're the project managers of these crowdfunding campaigns, and so we front all the costs, but, like, you have to make rational, reasonable, logical decisions with those costs, and we did not with this. Because I was like, "No," I'm like, "If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make money. I want this for me, and I'm okay spending this money on it," and thankfully, Jenny did not tell me I was crazy and was like, "Okay, let's go." Um, there will not be a 4th book in the Crimson Sail series, it wraps up with 3. I do have more fantasy coming though, it's just not announced yet, and it's more like romantic fantasy, like, I wouldn't it does the series will end in an HEA for the main relationship, however, it is more fantasy forward, and it's got some tarot elements and maybe a death game or 2, I don't know, but I don't know when it's gonna be announced, like, properly, and so I am the doing the worst job of keeping secrets about it. Listen, I I don't normally do hating I usually just DNF and, like, walk away and, like, forget it ever existed for books that I, like, get upset over or just am not loving, but I did so there's an upcoming book, it's horror, it's erotic horror, which we're seeing more of and I'm very excited about, called Spread Me by Sarah Gailey, and I think it comes out in, like, October or like, later this year, and it's kind of like a nod to The Thing, but also viruses and also, again, erotic horror, and it is the most like, I was sending all cap messages to Jenny, and then my husband had just had hernia surgery, and so it's still, like, blitzed out, like, like, "Don't make decisions because you're still on, like, the drugs," I don't know, whatever, the anesthesia, and, like, I literally was like, you don't even know what's happening in this book. She, like, the thing, like, fucks itself with a needle and then turns its armpit into a vagina, and he's like, and I was like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever read." I'm so confused, and I'm so into it, and I don't understand. Anyways, if you like erotic horror, you should read or if you like horror at all, you should read. It's coming out. It's see? Um, okay. I got really excited, and I'm still like, that book was nuts. That was just absolutely crazy, and I loved every moment of it. So, indie versus trad is very interesting because I really like the elements, the freedom of of self-publishing. Like, I like that there's no one to tell me no, and that I can be like, "I'm gonna write this crazy thing." Um, with that said, and especially like, I did not know where we were gonna be, like, politically, as a society, like, whatever, but I really wanted because I'm the main provider or the only provider in our family, and so, like, bills have to be paid and my children are going to college and it's very expensive. And so because I had the privilege of being in a position thanks to you, all of you who buy my books, to have a little more creative control in like the publisher author relationship than like I did when I was a midlist or a new author. I'm basically primarily trad for at least the next couple years. But also, like, again, I'm in a point of privilege where I can be like, "Hey, I wanna do this thing," and my editors are like, "Sounds great, give it to us. That cool. We'll make it the best version of itself that you can do," but, like, they don't I'm not being told, like, "No, that's not what people want. No, we can't do that," which I got told a no a lot the first, like, however many years of my career. So, it's and again, the spotlight shines on me currently. It'll move away at some point. The market will shift. That's just how publishing goes. It's a roller coaster. And when that does, I'll probably swing back to being primarily independent until the cycle begins again. Um, I like being flexible. I like the pivoting. Oh, and I do have another monster romance coming. It's monster romance horror. I don't have a deadline or a release date. I don't know when it's going to be out. What is available is currently available to the Patreon because I'm serializing it for the Patreon, like as a dessert project. But it is like the concept of like, what if your fear is the thing and your trauma is the thing that created the monster under the bed? And what if it feeds on that fear? And like, what if it has a lot of mouths? Maybe too many mouths. And what if it's scary, but also like, Basically, like, what if you just fucked your trauma? Would that help you get over it? Maybe. So, so that'll be coming at some point. I'm not giving myself a deadline for it. Like when it's done, and then I'll go through edits, and then it'll be released at some point, somewhere, someday. Um, in the meantime, like 20 or 30,000 words of it is available in the Patreon. Oh, yeah, no, the gold was so great and the black was so great on the slipcases. I am kind of like I'm a little happy we went with gold. There was no wrong answers, but it just fits so well with the foiled covers. And listen, the monsters are great. I had so much fun with it. I'm having fun. It's very hard. I like it's not a happy story initially, at least. And like it it definitely brings up a lot of my bullshit, and so I was having nightmares while, like, writing the bits that I did write, but, like, I think we're in the turning point, but also it's like, what happens if, like, the thing that feeds on your fear, like, even as you're maybe a little more comfortable with it, maybe, but, like, it still has to feed in your fear, what then? What then? I don't know, we'll find out together. Um, yeah, I will be writing more horror, I think, like that monster horror romance, yes. But like in general, I've been just consuming so much of it. And like I like it a lot. Like I used to never read horror, but then like 2016 happened and like I find it very cathartic because it's like I'm scared and I'm freaked out and then I can finish the book and close it instead of deciding to go about my life. um all right, we have like we're gonna do like 5 or 10 minutes more because my husband just sent me a picture of dinner and I'm very excited to eat. But yeah, so we launch, I guess the important bits. We launch on the 4th. If you are a Patreon, you'll get the link 2 days early. If you're a former backer, you'll get it 1 day early. Do not despair if you are neither because there are no limits on anything. It's just kind of a like thank you to Patreon members and to former backers because like you've been around this whole time. Like, thank you so much. And then no limits on anything. It will run until the 27th at about 5:30 p.m. Pacific. That's when you're charged. You will not be charged beforehand. You can make any edits you want to your stuff. It's gonna be great. Oh, see, please send it to me. Please send me the thing on pins because I keep buying them, and I keep being like, "I'm going to." Oh, and if you can't the Patreon, you can't search it because it's 18 plus, and so Patreon won't let you search it, but if you go to my website, there's a direct link. Um, but the I just love pins, but I keep being like, "I'm gonna create, like, one of those, like" what are the hoops called that the embroider folks use? Like, one of those and, like, put all my pins in, I just haven't done it yet. I did say that 5 years ago, and I'll get around to it eventually. In the meantime, they are occupying a basket. Um, yes. Yeah, no, the spoilers on Patreon are for real. I There's chats now, and so I'm trying to keep, like, the spoiler bits to the chats that's labeled spoiler specifically so that, like especially as Dark Olympus starts to come to a close, book 8's out in April. Um, I think by book 9, we'll have, like, the final redacted, like, officially listed, but I'm trying to be respectful of people who don't want to be spoiled on that, and I'm bad at secrets, so I needed somewhere to be like, "Bleh." Sweet, thank you. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited for this. I'm excited for all the stuff we have coming down the pipeline. Like, it's been a very stressful month, and this has been my carrot of like, "This is going to happen, and we're going to do the thing, and it's gonna be so much fun," and, like, it's the first time on Backer Kit, but they've been lovely, like, the whole experience is really geared towards, like, rewarding you for showing up because, like, I deeply appreciate you. Oh, yeah, hey, I am on Blue Sky, you should check me out there. It's Katie Roberts, no underscores or anything. Like, not Blue Sky, whatever. If you go Katie Robert Blue Sky, you'll find it. I spend a lot of time there these days, more than anywhere else. Um, it's I just really enjoy it. Some of it's kind of like hit and miss, but I needed a place to be chaotic, and like Threads is has a lot of people that I really, really enjoy, but also every time one of my threads escapes confinement, like people are just screaming at me. Um, thank you. And like it doesn't feel good to have that. And it's always like weird about it. Oh, thank you. It's it's always deeply humbling to hear that like I know that romance helps me through the bad times. Like Kate C. Wells and Elizabeth Stevens have gotten me through so much shit, so much shit. So it's lovely to like it's very humbling to like be on the other side of that and to like hear that like it did the thing. No, I'm gonna go order one of those books right now. The Prime Mating Agency series by Regine Abel. That sounds great. I am about to hit a horrific book hangover anyways because I read advanced copies of Tough Glove. I'm not a Critical Role person. I feel like Critical Role the way I feel about like Marvel comics and that like I tried to consume and I got immediately overwhelmed by the amount of content and that's a me problem. But Tough Glove, Thea Guanzon, I butchered her name. I'm so sorry. It's phenomenal, and it comes out later this year, and it's like a romance novel that exists in the Critical Role world. It's like legendary. I don't know. But it was great. It's like she's a sunshine, and he's like a grumpy, but also like really in touch with his emotions, and it had me giggling and kicking my feet and being like, "Oh my god." Um, thank you. And then, uh I read The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Canas. Again, I read a lot. I don't speak well, but that was great. She does horror romance. It's like more traditional horror stories with like really like kind of angsty, delicious romances in the midst. This was the best she's done yet, and that's saying something because I've loved every single one of her books. And then I read all Superheroes Need PR by Elizabeth Stevens. And Elizabeth Stevens is one of those authors that I'm like, I don't really fuck with superhero romances. I just don't, it's just, they just never quite do it for me. Nope. This one was thank you, Elizabeth Stevens. You are phenomenal. And everyone should pre order this book. Like, he's like, not allied with like villains or heroes and they like her agency does a bid to like do PR for him and he sees her and is deeply immediately obsessed and is like I should just kidnap her. Like that would be very expedient. Like I should just kidnap her and then like we can be together forever. And he's like, actually, I don't think she'd want that. So I will manipulate the situation so she can be Lois Lane to my like very violent, flame-filled, angry Clark Kent. And ooh, a chain every day. No, there's so the cop anyway, okay, I'm getting distracted. Anyways, it was really great. It was really great. It was spicy. It was just like, and then I read The Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, which I talked about earlier, and I enjoyed that a lot. Um, yes, I'm excited to be in Colorado. Um, the special editions are not available yet. We launch on the 4th, so it's coming. And they're digitally signed, but not stamp signed. It's honestly not unlike that. Like, it's like has rom-commy elements, but he is, like, immediately obsessed with her, is immediately like, "Hello, you're gonna be my wife." And she's like, "Excuse me? No, like, you don't even like me, like, you're very scary." And he's like, "No, like, what do I gotta do for you to be my wife? Like, right now, in fact." And I love it. And she's, like, got anxiety, like, she's very capable and like a CEO of her own company, and yet she's got like PTSD and like anxiety that's kind of like somewhat linked to that. And like it it felt like really good. I don't it's just it's great. It's great. You should read it. It comes out later this year. It's and I think it'll be in KU because it's through Montlake. So if you don't pre-order, you should still check it out. Don't let the cartoon cover fool you. It is spicy. It's great. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Last call for questions. Oh, The one of the meetups. So the meetups are listed if you go to my like any of my social media. It's in every newsletter. There's four stops for Sweet Obsession in April, but I'm also going to be doing some more jumping around and whatnot. Yes, Patreon subscription is open. It was only closed because I like paused it and I didn't realize it would not let people join. Um, the oh, Gothic Romance Remix. Okay. Well, Isabel Canas, the hacienda is really great, like really great. And the romance is not spicy. Like it's not a spicy romance. It's more like it's secondary, but also he's a priest. He's a priest. Um, and she's getting married because she's an ambitious lady who wants to get the hell out of like where she's at. And it seemed like a good idea at the time. And then turns out that Hacienda is deeply haunted. And he's a priest who like has some shit. And it's oh, it's just so good. Yeah, Zeus and Hera. I just finished like finished edits on them and they are I think you're gonna my editor says they are worth the wait. So we're gonna believe her. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Like I said, we'll be doing another live stream on the 4th, like when we launch. So it's like in the morning. It's like we'll start right before 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard. But again, all this stuff's recorded and so if you don't get to, you can always hop, or if you don't get to attend live, you can always hop on and watch later, or just, find me on social media. But thank you so much for coming. Goodbye. We're going to see if I figure out how to end this.